Daniel Nugent-Bowman today in The Athletic said, reading between the lines, it's clear Ken Holland sees a 1-year deal for Bouchard. Mentioned the cap going up in the next few summers. So he says Bouchard 1 year in the $3 million ballpark.
I'm fine with that.
The only thing there that'd be worrisome, because again, Bouchard's he can't go to arbitration.
No,
he's not at that point yet in his career. Next summer he can. So if you're Bouchard, it almost makes sense to punt it a year down the road and wait till you can get to ARB. You might be a $5 million ARB case. But he does mention the idea of offer sheets. Gregor and Saravalli had that talk today on the rundown. And like, you got to look at it from all perspectives. It's easy to sit there and say the Oilers are in a bad spot and offer sheets possible. Okay, well, let's dig a layer deeper. Evan Bouchard is very early in his NHL career. By quarterbacking the number 1 power play in NHL history, you're going to set yourself up for such a good payday.
One day, yeah.
What do you want to do? Take the offer sheet from Arizona because they have a bunch of draft capital, or Detroit, and go to one of these teams that's just trying to get in the playoffs. Maybe they have a couple good forwards, but no one at that level. You want to go there and try to quarterback that power play and set yourself up for future value? No. It makes way more sense. Makes way more sense for him to stay in Edmonton. So Bouchard agreeing to the offer sheet, I don't think makes a lot of sense. And then you also have to go look at the way the structure works for offer sheets and what teams would have to give up, right? I'm pulling it up right now.
So what is it? Under like $2 million, it's like a 4th round pick or something, isn't it?
Okay, so $1 to $1.4 million on an offer sheet is no compensation.
Okay.
1.4 to 2.1 is a third. 2.1 to 4.2 is a second. Okay, Edmonton's matching anything under 4.2. I
think Edmonton's matching anything under like 6 or 7.
So the next one, which is a 1st and a 3rd round pick, is 4.2 to 6.3. Edmonton's matching up to 6.3. You make it work, right? Like you don't give up Bouchard for just a 1st and a 3rd. The next tier is 6.3 to 8.5. So if you really want to put the boots to the Oilers, you go 8.5 for 1 year. At that point, Edmonton would get a 1st, a 2nd, and a 3rd back. Not Bouchard value at all. But there's also only 3, 6, 9, 11 teams in the NHL who can even afford it.
So all those teams there in the color are the ones that could afford to do it.
Anaheim, Arizona, Buffalo, Calgary, Carolina, Chicago, Dallas, Detroit, Nashville, Seattle, St. Louis.
Okay, now let's quickly do this where what teams would even need him. So he wouldn't accept a deal to Anaheim, Arizona, Calgary, I would assume. Chicago.
Like maybe he would be like, oh, yeah, Chicago will play with Bedard. I'll quarterback that power play. They're going to give me $8.5 million for a year and then re-sign me to a long-term deal after.
Detroit isn't doing it.
I don't think Detroit would do it.
There's a respect factor in some cases.
Yeah. Eisman wouldn't do it to Holland. They have Mort Seider.
Yes. Yeah. Also that. Buffalo's not doing it. They have Darlene and Power to eventually pay. Carolina actually have a pretty stacked blue line, so I don't think they'll
need they're in cap trouble. Dallas is in cap trouble. Nashville doesn't need them. They got Barry. Seattle, again, Seattle, Anaheim, Chicago, I think are the 3 you'd look at and be like, maybe they do it. But again, are any of them going to dish $8.5 million out for 1 year of Evan Bouchard to even make Edmonton flinch? No way. I don't. And again, he's got to accept it. That's the thing.
That's the other thing too. This isn't just like they're offering it, I have to take it. Like Bouchard has to agree. The only team on that list I could see considering it would be St. Louis. Just looking at the team,
look at how much money are they spending on D right now, man. You got
Falk,
Krug, Parayko, Leddy, all making north of 4. Their mantra this offseason is to get rid of one of those. They can't afford $8.5 million.
Maybe if they get rid of Falk, but who's taking Falk?
Right. So
maybe, but I mean, out of all of those teams, that's the one team I think would be a realistic option-ish. I don't really think any of them are that realistic.
I think it's one of the rebuilding teams that would throw 8.5 at them. And that's it. Everything else, Edmonton's matching.
Seattle, maybe.
I don't know, man.
I don't think any of them, but if there's a couple in there that might speculate. If there's one rebuilding team, who do you think it would be?
Anaheim. But again, they have like Drysdale and stuff and Zellweger. They don't need them. So then I'll say.
What about Montreal?
They don't have the draft capital.
Oh, yeah, they're not on the draft capital.
Chicago, right? You want a puck mover for Bouchard. You have all the cap space in the world. Maybe Chicago is the one team you watch, but like we don't see them. We've seen 2 in the last decade,
and they've both involved Montreal and Carolina
because they got into a pissing match. So like, I don't know. I just don't see it.